How to put your house inside of a trust without using an attorney. So the first thing that we want to do is set up our trust documents. The type of trust that we're going to use depends on our goals. A revocable trust will allow you to avoid the probate process. An irrevocable trust will give you asset protection and also allow you to avoid the probate process. With a revocable trust, you're going to be able to be the trustee and the beneficiary. With an irrevocable trust, you cannot be the trustee or the beneficiary. As an example, the trustee would be the person that would sell the house inside of the trust. The beneficiary would be the person that would be able to take distributions from the proceeds of that sale. Now, once you have the type of trust picked out in relation to your goals, you can go to a service like trustandwill.com, fill out the trust document, go through the questionnaires, print that trust off. It's probably a good idea that you have a trust attorney actually review that, because regardless of having a revocable or an irrevocable trust, at some point all trusts become irrevocable, and that means that you cannot change, amend, or cancel them at any time. They are permanent structures at that point. So if you happen to have messed something up, you want to make sure that you're finding that out before you put your assets inside of that trust. So you can use the trustandwill.com, but it's recommended that you also have it reviewed by an attorney. It will be a little bit cheaper. And so once you have your trust document filled out, you want to make sure that you are signing in front of notary and witnesses per your local state laws. As an example, in Georgia, you have to sign it in front of a notary and 2 witnesses for it to be a legally valid document. Once you have your trust document set up, your property is not in there. You need to transfer the property in there still. So you'll use a quitclaim deed or a warranty deed. On that document, you can fill out your name, the name of the trust, a legal description of that property, and you will also sign it in front of notary and witnesses per your local state laws. Once you have that document signed and filled out, you'll go and file it at your local county clerk's office in the county where the property is located. They will take that document, process it, and they will transfer ownership out of your name into the name of the trust. And then at that point, the property is now inside of the trust. And you want to make sure that you are doing a couple things on the back end here. So with regards to your insurance, you need to make sure that you are updating your insurance policy. If you have a revocable trust, all you're going to do is add the trust as the additional insured on your insurance policy, and then you will still be the named insured on that policy, and you will be responsible for paying the premiums, filing the claims, updating your policies, etc. And then the trust will have coverage because it's the additional insured. With an irrevocable trust, what you'll have to do is create a brand new policy, and the irrevocable trust will be the named insured on that policy, and then the trustee would be the person that would be managing that policy on behalf of the trust. You won't have any involvement with that policy because you are no longer involved with the assets inside of the irrevocable trust. Now, if you reach out to your insurance company with the revocable trust and they say, no, you don't need coverage, or you don't need to add the trust as the additional insured on your policy, make sure that you are getting that in writing from your insurance company so that in 5 or 10 years, when you file a claim on that property and you don't have that trust as the additional insured, and they decide not to pay that claim out just because the rep that you originally talked to didn't have the information that they needed to tell you the correct thing, you have that in writing from another individual in that company, and it shows that you reached out and tried to do the right thing, but they told you that you didn't need it. That way you are covered in the event that that happens. Now, the next thing we need to do is make sure that we are talking to our lender. Now, it depends on the type of trust here. If you have a revocable trust, it will not trigger the due on sale clause, so you won't have to refinance or pay off that property to put it inside of the revocable trust. All you need to do is notify your lender for actual account and documentation keeping. And so you just need to let them know so there's no confusion and no conflict between you and your lender in terms of putting that property inside of the trust. An irrevocable trust is a little bit different. You will trigger the due on sale clause because you're fully separating that property from yourself. And so you will either need to get permission from your lender, refinance that property into the name of the trust, or pay that property off completely so that you can put it inside of the irrevocable trust. Now, you need to do that before you put the property inside of the irrevocable trust. Ideally, you're talking to your lender before you even set up your irrevocable trust for that property, so you're not wasting your money or your time. And then you need to talk to your lender and make sure you figure out the process that you need to do so that you can put it inside of the irrevocable trust before you're setting everything up. Now, disclaimer here. If you set up the irrevocable trust, put the property in there, and then go tell your lender, what's going to happen is they will force you to take it out. But if you don't have any clauses or authority inside of that trust document telling the trustee that they can take that property back out, you won't be able to. It's going to be stuck, and your loan's going to be called due. The remaining balance of your loan will have to be paid in full. So it's very important that you tread carefully here with the irrevocable trust and triggering that due on sale clause. If you want help setting any of this up, click link in the bio, in the video description, or the comments below, and talk to someone on our team.